Hi everyone, this is journal entry number 3 for MN668. Today I'm going to talk about an experience that I had as a new graduate nurse early on in my nursing career when I was working in the hospital. I will say that during this time, we did have a lot of patients that would come in when they were having alcoholic binges. So a lot of our patients that were alcoholic or alcohol, suffering from alcoholism. And when they would have these binges, a lot of times either they would come into the ER or their family members would come to the ER and bring them and drop them off. And they would wind up on med surg units. I believe I was working cardiac at the time, and we would get a lot of these patients where we were just monitoring them to make sure that they were, able to come off of these, binges without any issues to like their vital organs or, nothing abnormal going on. Well, one evening, I do remember this because I think it was the last night that I had with my preceptor. We had a patient that developed psychosis, and she was seeing things. I believe she said that there were kids in the room with her, and she was having, these wild visions that were happening. She ripped out her IV. She threw the IV pole at my preceptor. It was, really, really wild. Um, and that interaction really did like open up my eyes to when they say, mental health patients can be combative and they can be physical. And I believe we wound up having to give that patient an injection to calm her down. I think we gave her I think it was Haldol, or I don't remember exactly the medication. It's been so long. But we did have to give her something that the physician prescribed to calm her down, and also wound up putting her in restraints for her safety as well as for everyone else's safety. But I had never dealt with a combative patient before, even with, doing inpatient psych for like clinicals and things like that. I never had a patient that combative on that level. And even in the other areas of nursing that I've worked, I've never, had a patient that was combative like that. But it really does prepare you to be, aware of your surroundings, aware of, just making sure that you have enough room between yourself and the patient, because you never know. A patient can seem like they're perfectly normal, perfectly calm, and at the, blink of an eye, you're dealing with a situation that you didn't expect. So it really, just made me more alert, more aware of my surroundings. Um, and so, and just understanding that a lot of times these patients don't even realize what they're doing. Um, and, if they were perfectly normal, or if they weren't, in that condition, I guess, where they had overindulged, they probably wouldn't be acting erratic like that. But it just made me more aware of my surroundings, more to be more vigilant about making sure that there you do have space between you and the patient, not getting too into someone's personal space, because you just never know how things can turn out or how things can change. And just making sure that you're just fully alert, with what's going on, so that if anything like that ever does arise, at least you're not, as surprised, or you can, not saying that you'll be aware or just waiting for something like that to happen, but just making sure that you're looking at your surroundings and just aware of what's going on is the best thing. Um, and I would say that that's it. That's like what I took from that situation. It, just made me stronger. and, more vigilant, and just overall made me more aware of, what psychosis can look like with patients, in that, something as simple as someone drinking a little too much can cause it. So, all right, I hope you enjoyed my reflection, and I will look forward to posting one next week.